Ho 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 ho. I forgot to switch on the microphone. But now we're all good. Now we're all good. Hey Amir, how's it going, man? Whoa, you guys you're first for sure, man. How's it going? It's Thursday. Hey, that onion. Atsuki. Just honest. What up, yo? Oh. Oh yeah, let's try that while we wait for people to drop in. Um, and um, yeah, add new source. Done. Um, I think it broke. That's weird. Maybe you can't have two um, webcams. Odd. Hey, Concept Sam, how's it going? Good Bjorning. Oh, just honest. I didn't see that. Nice one, nice one. Hey, Algani, welcome back. Yeah, welcome back, Algani. Very nice to see you here again. That onion. Sometimes I stream on the weekends, like for hours at an end. But most of the generally it's a 30-minute stream only. Sometimes I stream on my lunch. Sometimes I stream, like I said, on weekends. But that's more exceptions to the rule, uh, because I don't have a lot of time and I'm quite busy. So I've scheduled in this 30 minute every morning at the studio, and it allows me to stream it. Hey, Shartha, how's it going? Bruno Romanos. He's back, man. He's back. And Captain Baus. Love seeing your lovely little badges. It's crazy cool. Hey, Quentin Kilrathi, how's it going? Alright, how about some topics? What should I draw today? Let's do something fantasy. As in a chopstick warrior, diesel punk geisha. Alright, alright. Let's go with anything goes. Because I want to do diesel punk geisha. Hey, Bon88, how's it going? Bon88, he has a number 3. Because he's special. Diesel punk geisha. Robot mage. Alright. Flower troll. The folding menace. What the? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5. I'm gonna dice roll while we wait for number 6. If it's number 6. If there's no number 6, let's roll it. Brrr, number 5. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The folding menace. Amir. Amir. Why are you doing? What are you doing? The folding menace. How am I supposed to? How am I to do something with the folding menace? The folding menace. The folding menace. Let's start the timer. Folding menace. One thing I saw in my head, which is stupid, is like a butterfly knife. You know, the thing you flick around. But that's not. No, it's okay. Let's think about this. The folding menace. The folding menace could be someone that can, like a cockroach. You know, like you fold yourself in half, as in agility. A folding chair. Draw a folder. No, I'm gonna draw a like super agile, weird alien assassin. The folding menace, because the folding menace is the nickname of this assassin, right? Which is like a really, how can I describe a weird folding? The pose needs to indicate that the character can fold in really weird ways. Something like that. Or is a murdered. Is a mass murderer. The folding menace. It's like he folds people in half after he's murdered them. That could also be a solution. Like No Country for Old Men style, uh, professional murderer, madman. Hey, Avoodoo Breakfast. Örjan, how's it going? Mr. Örjan. How are you, sir? Sharta and Bon88. You guys are having issues with the stream? Oh. Oh, really? Hey, Zalin, how's it going? Welcome. I need to shift that leg, I think. It needs to be... Let's have it go over that arm. Yeah. Now he feels a way more foldy. The folding menace. That's really weird, Sharta. Oh, really, Aryan? Oh, that's really cool. Let's cross the fingers that you'll get the contract you want then. Yeah, it's Agile Slender Man. That was the kind of the idea that I ended up at, which like the folding menace, like he can fold himself into small spaces, right? I'm gonna try to design some sort of weird looking alien, assassin alien. Oh yeah. Yeah. There is something, like you gotta be careful of taking on too much work, so that the quality drops. That's something gotta keep in mind not to do. Because then it doesn't matter if you landed your dream job or two of your dream jobs, if you can't have the time and effort and ability to give it the proper care and attention that is required, then you're gonna lose that. Like, oh yeah, I finally got a contract with Wizards of the Coast. Oh, I messed it up because I also had to do Appleblood. Yeah, exactly. The folding menace. I mean, that's the cool thing about the topics which are quite abstract, is that you can adjust them and try to make the best out of them, right? Because if it's a very specific thing like a panda, you gotta, well, you will obviously have to make a panda. A folding menace can be anything. It can be a little bug. It can be a space assassin. It can be, you know, whatever you want it to be, really. That's good, Arian. Yeah, that's one thing of making illustrations. A lot of illustrations is that you'll learn a lot of your own timing and process, so that you can kind of specify um, like what you need to, in what you can do or perform in time. All right, Captain Boss. Well, in terms of what you should be able to perform a day, you got to think of it like if you're a freelancer and you pay the day rate by a day. If you have a high day rate, um, what are they paying you for? You know, or does it take you a week to design a fully designed character, or does it take you a day, or does it take you 2 days or 3 days? And it's a question of quality versus quantity, and what you get paid for. You know, if you have a high day rate, naturally they would assume you perform more because of the cost, right? So that if they pay you, you know, I don't know, 300 a day to sit and design for them, and if they go like, yeah, I design one character a week, uh, in this hypothetical situation, for then that's 300 times 5, right? Then that's 1,500 for one character. Uh, the client might really like that character for 1,500, and that's great if they have that budget, or you know, you have a higher day rate, or they go, oh, we'll instead pay 1,000 for a character, and then it doesn't matter how many days you need to work to get it done, right? Like they can pay off they can buy out, they can do a buyout, right? So that it's arbitrary in man days, but it's about the end result, based on your hour rate or day rate. Um, and then but it also then comes down to how much work can you do for that money. Um, so let's say you, in your terms, you spent 3 hours for one character, um, or 3 days, or 3 hours, whatever. 3 hours for a character. That means, in theory, in a working day, you could complete two characters, right? And with those two characters, you could get paid, um, for two contracts for the same price as one, right? Because you produced for them a character in a day, but because of your efficiency, you could do it faster than 8 hours over a working day, or maybe you only work 3 hours a day, whatever. You know, they don't. The client doesn't necessarily need to know the specifics of how many hours you do, because if you only build them for one day and the quality is there, it's arbitrary, if it's 4 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours or 12. But it matters to you because the more efficient you are, the more time you can spend on other things. And it obviously it's not like, oh, for free, because skills are involved, right? You are skillful enough to do an 8-hour work in 4 hours. That's fine, and then you should get paid for it because they're paying you for the end result, not like X amount of working hours. Captain Bows, yeah, that's one part of it, and like 3 days with iterations and thumbnails and so on, it's pretty standard. It's a high pace, but any more than that, you have to question about efficiency. Um, because if you do the math, let's say I can do this sketch for a character in 30 minutes. If I would spend 4 hours doing a character, 30 minutes per character, which would mean at the end of it I would have 8 characters designed, or suggestions for a character designed in 4 hours, right? If I would spend 30 minutes per character, that would mean they have 8 thumbnails to choose from in half a day. And then they would go, yeah, we like option number 5 with details of number 2 or whatever. And then you can do those changes within that same day if you're in, like, say, in a studio, because you could just go over to the boss and the boss would say, yeah, I like this, I like that, or whatever. You pause that character because there needs to be a decision to be made, so you move on to the next one and you spend the next half day on that character to produce thumbnails for the next one. And then let's say you spend another half a day to do those changes when the time comes. So that's, you spent one day to finalize a design, more or less, as a candidate to take to finish. And then they go, okay, yeah, we like that candidate, but give us some more options for that candidate. So you spend another day or half a day, 4 hours on the same character, doing different variations, like a different helmet, a different armor, or whatever. And you spend that time. And then that's 1.5 day. Then they go, yeah, that's good. We like it, finish it. And you spend a day rendering. That's 8 full hours of a design that you don't need to guess anymore on, because you've already, put down the time and effort into designing it, so there's no guesswork anymore, because you spent 1.5 day designing this one thing. Hey, Conma, welcome, man. Nice to see you back. Yeah, I mean, spending more time on something is justified if the quality is there. If you feel like, if I would spend one more day on sketching, the end result would be so much stronger. You have to add that to the equation. Oh yeah, absolutely. A main character which is a story character, which has to be fleshed out fully, is way more than 3 days. 3 days is just the generic measurement. If you're an art director and you need to schedule work hours into XLM, XLC, whatever, Excel sheet, you have to try to quantify it somehow, and that's average. Like, oh yeah, 3 days per character average. And the thing is, with when you're art directing, it's like, okay, I did it in 2. That's great. Now we have one more work day in budget to spend it somewhere else. We can either play with iterations, or we can have one more day on story characters, because they pay budget, right? and budget is split onto artists and um, assets. So, or more assets. So each asset gets X amount of work hours, and they assign artists to deliver the most efficiently. Hey there, Bard. Welcome. Welcome back, man. Hey, White Bath. How's it going? Captain Boss. Yeah, I mean, if you gotta, I mean, I'll help you in any way I can with answering questions. But one thing that you gotta keep in mind that there is no right or wrong, right? There is no one truth, because when it comes down to it, each person is different, and each person has a different workflow. It's just about you yourself knowing and be clear with your client or potential client when you start negotiating, and you say, "Oh, I expect to spend 5 days per character," and you can ask the client, "Is that something that's okay with you? We can adjust the time frame if that doesn't work with your scheduling. My day rate is X amount for 5 days. Is that okay?" Maybe you don't go really high price because you need to spend a little bit longer. But in the end, maybe it's the amount of money you need, and with time you get better and better, and that's some sort of things you got to start thinking about, and honesty, because in the end, if someone approaches you, they are doing it in the name of the company, but they're still a person, and they're still human, and so are you. But you also can't forget that it's business, so you got to also keep it in mind that it's a business negotiation, and sometimes they can't go, "Yeah, I like you, buddy, so we're gonna lose money on you." No one is gonna say that, but the person behind the negotiations is a person as well. So there's always some form of understanding involved, right? Yeah, I mean, in the case of the first Assassin's Creed taking so long, I'm quite sure that they restarted many times the design and the tech and what the requirements for the model is, because they were developing the parkour tech, and they wanted to push graphics, and the first Assassin's Creed was known as the Xbox killer. It was the cause of many red rings of deaths on Xboxes, because it stressed the system so much. It overheated, and it um, bent the motherboard, um, because the graphic card was spinning so fast all the time, or he was working. Absolutely, the boss. The better you understand how long it takes you to design something and give them a product, the easier the client will go, "Yeah, we'll use you. 5 days or 4 days or 2 days for a fully complete character. Cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that." But if you go like, I don't know, I maybe a week, maybe 2 days. How can they schedule you? So just like it's a great thing that you're doing is timing yourself. That's great. Then you start to get a ballpark of what you can perform for someone, right? But you should also consider what it takes from scratch. Let's say I'm asking you to draw a spider robot now, and then you have to do research, you have to sketch, you have to get an idea. That is all work hours. and that's something you also have to consider. Like when you're a seasoned artist and you go 3 days blank, then you know your process so well that it doesn't matter what you have to draw, because you know, like, okay, I know how to sketch, I know somewhat the topics, you know, I got this. You know, it's not it's not too abstract of an approach, you know, because you already know kind of how to do it. Örjan, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes certain scenarios or certain paintings they require more time, and that's fine. If you have more than one task of the client, um, you can uh, you can either let the client know that this one is a little bit more complicated and is going to require me to spend a little bit more time with it, and uh, and ideally then you catch up time-wise on another asset, right? You do one faster, and then you can spend a little bit more time on the other one. Hey, loop de loop. Thank you. I was challenged by a topic today where the topic is the folding menace. I was stuck for a while. Um, what to draw? You seem new, so I get a random topic every morning, and I try to paint or sketch or design something based on that topic. And I start a timer, and I design on the fly. So today, one Amir here in the chat, his topic was chosen by a dice, and it was the folding menace. So I decided it's a nickname to an assassin, which is called the folding menace, and the idea is that he can fold himself into a majority of any space. You know, like he's a killer. Uh, so that's what I'm trying to do is to kind of communicate that agility. That the topic demands. I mean, that was all good, man. Captain Boast. The thing is, it's really good that you're thinking, and it's really good that you're clear about your approach to things. Um, there's more and more need for people who have sensibilities and a point to make in their designs, and they're not just designing generically. I would suggest, Captain Boast, you dig out Mike Hill. Um, on his YouTube. He should be everywhere on YouTube. He's a great lecturer, and he talks about a lot about design narratives, and that people need to start thinking in when they're designing, and not just generically making cool shit, but there's actually a purpose and a point uh, in uh, in what you should be designing. And I think, Captain Bose, that your work, even though you are beginner, you already have a leg up on that. I think if you would push that more already, which you're already doing, because it's obvious you're thinking, uh, it will work in your favor. Loop de loop. A lot of life drawing from life. Also, I had a workshop with Glenn Vilpoo's uh, right hand man in my younger days, with anatomy and how to think about anatomy, which was very on point with my innate understanding of form. I'm not keen on art books where they teach anatomy as a filtered process like Loomis or Bridgman or so on. I tend to want to learn from real life muscles, so I have a anatomy book with photographs of the body rather than an anatomy book of someone filtering reality. But for me, what am I in terms of learning anatomy? The most important is to find the guy or the artist, woman, female, male, doesn't matter, um, that fits your way of thinking. As an example, I think a lot in form, so Loomis never um, worked for me. I couldn't look at Loomis work. I just I was kind of I couldn't focus on what I needed to focus on by just looking at Loomis work. It didn't translate in my mind, and I tried a lot because at the time when I started learning anatomy, Loomis was the guy to look at for anatomy. Like everyone was like ranting about how good Loomis was, and I really tried to learn the way everyone else was learning, and in the end, I just stood still for a long time because Loomis wasn't for me. And then I just decided to learn from real world, and then I found Glenville Pool, which is very much in line with my thinking. Loop de loop. Um, there is a term called the people hunting, is where you sit at a cafe or a busy intersection, or you just stand and sketch people in motion, or sketch people on the train. Um, I'm not talking about hunting rifle hunting people. that's that's wrong. Uh, but I mean, it's like capturing people. But there's always life drawing classes, and they will always teach you way more than any photograph or any instruction manual, because we we have two eyes, which means we have stereo vision, and any photograph, it's taken through a lens, and a lens distorts, and it's a 2D image of a 3D object. And the moment you look at a real human, naked human, and analyzing their muscles, and you can turn your head around the form, it's so much clearer, um, and you'll learn a lot more. But that requires you to kind of have a general understanding of what's happening on the underside. That's where it's good to do studies in terms of which muscle goes where and so on. But then seeing the real object, the real human anatomy, with that knowledge will help you figure things out a lot faster. Uh, Noteless. You can post either way because on Monday lunch, I'm gonna go and look at both. But it publicly post on Firestarter because not everyone can see it. That's not on the Discord. And if you post it on Firestar on Discord, everyone can see it, but you have to be a part of that server in order to see it. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Either way, it's going to be recorded on Monday lunchtime. Marichi, that's a pretty good idea. You bought this book 3 days ago. Big Bad World of Concept Art. Just honest, underneath the stream there's a Discord link. I don't have a bot. I have no idea, boss, about this book. Probably good. But that sounds more like one person's opinion. Dear Bard, moving everything over to Discord. Firestarter. Well, I'm a part of Firestarter now, so it's going to be. Ideally, we're going to use Firestarter platform because it's a great exposure because sponsors and companies go there. And it's going to just build bigger and bigger, and it's going to be more exposure for the community, whoever wants to be a part of the community in whatever things we decide to do with Firestarter. But the Discord will never disappear. Discord is always going to be there because it's such a great communication tool. Noteless, alright. The challenges? No, the challenges are going to be both. If you want to only post on Discord, do that. That's fine with me. Loop to loop. Just join Discord, man. It's all good. Alright, that's it. The Folding Menace. Ta-da! Thank you for the challenging topic, Amir. It was fun trying to figure out what the hell a Folding Menace is. Um, let's see who we can attack. Who can we raid? Okay. We're gonna raid Christopher Kent. He started out sketching something new. Christopher Kent. My pleasure, Captain Bowles. Any day. Any day. Alright, guys. Fantastic. Have a good night. Have a great day. And if you're in that part of the world, see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Cheers, Amir. Alright, guys. Girls. Have a great one. Let's raid. Toodles!